We want to create a brighter and better future for El Segundo, and we will not take no for an answer.
Hi, I'm Tanya, and I'd like to welcome you to Black in Mayberry. This project was really inspired by the fact that in 2020 there has been so much social unrest, political unrest, that more conversations have been explored. And we've found that more people of color are sharing their experiences and their stories, and more people are willing to listen. So we wanted to speak with people who are Black here in El Segundo and hear their experiences and hear their stories. I hope that you enjoy this mini-series and that you have an opportunity to learn something and to pass that knowledge forward. Thank you.
We want to create a brighter and better future for El Segundo, and we will not take no for an answer.
Hi, my name is Christoph. I've been born and raised in Los Angeles, California. The power of a first impression is something special. Whether it's your first job interview, your first date, your first day of school, the first impression is key. It's the lasting imprint that you have on somebody's life about your character. It's a clean slate, but for too many Black people, not only in this community, but in the rest of America, it's an uphill battle with the pressure of not meeting certain stereotypes about our culture. Not wearing your hat backwards, or not using slang, or not being too aggressive, just to not meet those stereotypes of being ghetto or being the angry Black man or being unprofessional. Trying to navigate through these stereotypes is something that feeds into how we interact on the first impression. After 7 years of going to El Segundo, my first impressions are now pretty limited. I've been pretty familiar with a lot of people in the community. But every once in a while, there's something that brings you back down, something that humbles you. And for me, it was the interactions with a lot of the substitute teachers at El Segundo. Because those are first impressions. When the substitute teacher comes in, it's a new slate. And for me, a 4.0 student, I have had to prove myself on a day-to-day basis with these substitute teachers. It brings me back to one time in the 7th grade. I was tired or sluggish in the morning, and this was a first or second period class. And by snack after third period, I was in the office because the substitute teacher had suspected I'd been high or had smoked weed before class. Now, I wouldn't have gotten any of this from anybody else who I'd already become familiar with. So my advice is to, on a day-to-day basis, on a person-to-person basis, make sure that these first impressions, your first instinct on somebody is on a clean slate, a level playing field. Let them show you who they are before you put onto them who you think that they'll be. So, completely unrelated, Lakers, a unifying statement in Los Angeles. Lakers in 4, prove me otherwise.
Segundo, and we will not take no further action.
Hi, I'm Avery, and this is my story. There's a couple of things that you need to understand about road running and race. We know race is a construct. We understand that there's a lot of work to be done. However, race has consequences for our bodies. Racism, Ta-Nehisi Coates says, lands on the body. And when you take something like running, which is the freest form of exercise there is, it's most affordable, most accessible, and you complicate that with avoiding arrest, wrongful arrest, avoiding jeers from people driving by or walking by, avoiding people who are afraid of you because you're moving fast. You've got to take some things into consideration. So I started running on the roads by myself when I was about 13, and I was never allowed to leave the house without some type of form of ID, without telling my parents the approximate amount of mileage I was running and the route. I never ran at night, and I still don't. And I wear very, very athletic clothing that cannot at all be mistaken for casual clothes. These are the things that I do over miles and miles and miles in my life still today, because racism does land on the body. And for me, that means when I walk outside my door to do something that I'll never stop doing and that I love so much, I have to be careful about who I offend, who I might come in contact with, simply by taking up space on American sidewalks and asphalt. So that's my story.
We want to create a brighter and better future for El Segundo, and we will not take no further action.
A lot of people think that it's really easy being the shiny paragon of excellence, the exception, but being the token friend, the token Black person in a predominantly white space is a lot harder than people think. You're supposed to be an advocate and basically an urban dictionary for your entire culture, while at the same time they see you as an exception, as something separate. You're the pretty Black girl, you're the smart Black kid, because they keep these preconceived notions that Black people are anything but hardworking, dedicated, beautiful, intelligent, kind. And it means that even though you've passed the first impression, you've got to keep sticking to these standards. Otherwise, if you slip up or mess up in any way, they're gonna throw you back into the stereotype and you're getting excluded again. People like to treat the token friend like an accessory that they can just pull out of their backpack and use as an excuse to claim that they're not racist, sexist, homophobic, or biased in any way, when truly these people tend to have these preconceived notions and adhere to the stereotypes of different communities and constantly use slander against them on the day-to-day. But because they have a friend that's gay, or they have a friend that's a woman or Black, they're not racist. They can't be, because they have a Black friend. And being that token means that every day I'm carrying like the weight of my shoulders of my culture on me, because those people that have let me into those spaces If I slip up, it's a representation of my entire culture, my entire community. And as a woman in STEM, which is a predominantly male field, the second I express emotions, I'm that emotional woman. This is why women can't be in STEM. This is why women can't be in positions of power. The second I casually dress or wear sweatpants to school, I'm seen as the ghetto girl. And I'm only accepted because I'm a part of the LGBT community because I don't make being gay my personality. Being the token friend puts so much stress on you, and it really makes you realize that you're never really being accepted into that community, because the second you mess up, the second you slip up, the second you remind them that you're one of those things and you're not the exception, they're gonna throw you away, and they're gonna treat you like the way they treat everyone else. And so you're constantly trying to hold yourself up so you can make it through, so that you can make it easier for the people that come after you. But it's not really solving the problem. You just end up playing into the role that they want you to play, and you're not really able to fully be yourself. The end. Do-do-do. The life of a dancer. My body's so run down. I'm done now, that hurt.
We want to create a brighter and better future for El Segundo, and we will not take no for an answer.
Black lies! Black lies! You're the virus! You know, Africans are so fucking violent! You're calling the police! I'm calling the police!
Hi, my name is Raquel.
Hi, my name is Brittany.
Hi, my name is Jessica, and you may have seen a video of our incident at the beach on August 30th.
We've been friends for about 14 years. We've been with each other in our highest of highs and through the lowest of lows. Racism is something we talk about on a regular basis. Some of the most common forms we experience may actually sound like compliments to some people. You're so articulate. What school did you go to? What are you mixed with? These are just microaggressions that I would say we hear every day. What happened to us on August 30th was the first time for me personally that I've been attacked for my race.
On August 30th at 6 a.m., we started our run just as we would any other. We got our stretch and we were getting ready to take off when we saw a woman running on the opposite side, coming in the opposite direction, who yelled out a racial slur. Later on our run, we would encounter this woman again, and she would tell us that she thought that we were Black Africans, that our lives didn't matter. Black lives don't matter, our lives don't matter. She said Black lies. She said that she was going to buy us the cheapest ticket back to Africa, that we were the problem in this country and we were the virus. I asked her where she was from because she looked to be a minority. She said she was Mexican and that she was from Mexico and that this was her continent. I think the biggest shock in all of this is that she had nothing to judge us on. She just judged us by our skin color. She saw us, she didn't know us, and she decided to spew hatred at us. At the end of our second encounter with this woman, she called the police and asserted that we had threatened her and attacked her, which couldn't be further from the truth. Essentially, what this woman was doing was weaponizing our Blackness. This is not something that's new. This is something that has happened for generations. However, is now being publicized because of cell phones and cameras. This could happen to anybody. I never thought that this would happen to us, but it did, and we have to tell our story.
She saw us as a Black threat, simply because the color of our skin was a shade darker. something we cannot change. It was important for us to share our story to call out anti-Blackness racism, that this is not okay, that this cannot keep happening, and that no one is immune to racism. Once we shared our story on the news and social media, we had an overwhelmingly amount of support from friends, family, and people we didn't even know who said, "We stand with you." As our story was repeated over and over again, the message was clear that there was a group of people, a movement around this change. We wanted to continue to spread the message, send the message to our young people, especially, that you can tell your story confidently because it's important to tell your own story so it's not told for you. If this woman would have shared our story, there would have been a different narrative, a different message. We must be louder than those who spread hate.
We may not all be activists,
But we all have the power to be
Agents of change.
Yeah, so move your shoulders slightly backwards to open up the space for her now.
Got it.
You go up because you're taller. So.
Okay. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Yeah, love you.
See you next Sunday.
We want to create a brighter and better future for El Segundo, and we will not take no for an answer.
I've been marching for more than 50 years. I came up in a generation where you stand for what you stand for. So when I got the call to come and speak at the Black Lives Matter in El Segundo's event in July, I was overjoyed. I'd already been to 4 marches for Black Lives Matter since the killing of George Floyd and Tanya Taylor. And one of the things that I was most excited about was that we never confronted counter-protesters. The numbers were so large. But then I came to El Segundo. It was my 3rd El Segundo event, and I was stunned. My younger son was with me, and there were all these big flatbed trucks out with big guys and megaphones and dogs and Trump signs, Trump 2020 and Blue Lives Matter. And I approached and I saw the numbers at that point looked pretty equal. As a matter of fact, it looked like they might have even outnumbered us. So when we got to the police lobby, I saw what was going on. People were milling about. The organizers were busy getting ready for the event. But you could feel the level of anxiety in the group because this was some evil coming at us. And I made a determination when I hit that section that evil was not going to win. And all of a sudden, very quietly, from a boombox, I heard Nina Simone's song, "I Wish I Knew How It Felt to Be Free." My younger son was with me. I didn't know it was break out into violence, but I sucked it up because I was determined that on that day, for this cause, evil was not going to be winning this day. So I walked up to the boombox, I turned the sound all the way up, and I began to clap my hands over my head and sway to the music. And all of a sudden, all the good guys, I call them, got it, and they understood, this is it, this is music, this is our soul, this is what we stand for. And everybody began to clap and sway, and it was so powerful that the bad guys got quiet because they didn't know how to respond. And that was a day that I really feel evil got defeated by the power of unity, music, and message. That's my story. A great person once said, "Courage is not to be free of fear, but to have fear and do what's necessary anyway." This is a time to stand up to your fears and stand up for what's right. We want to create a brighter and better future for El Segundo, and we will not take no for an answer.
Hello, my name is Wendell, or Wendell. Oh, you can't see me talking. I bet that's weird. You can't see me talking, right? You can't see my mouth moving. I don't have a lot of problems. I haven't come across a lot of problems with being black. Like, I haven't at all. I've never felt the sting of microaggressions. I've been invited to plenty of things. I was gaslighted once at my old job, but I think that's because my supervisor was just a douche. You know, it wasn't because I was black. So when I hear about these things and hear other people talk about it, I don't quite know like where that lands in my life. I guess the most, like, when I think about like my experience, especially now with everything that's coming out and everything that's kind of being torn open, it's kind of like the Band-Aid is being ripped off and you're seeing the wound for the first time. A wound that I was blind to, a wound that I'm starting to get a sense of, and quite frankly, it's leaving me drained, you know? You know, I go to work, I do my thing, and I lead people. I have to be strong. Nobody can see the cracks in the armor. Nobody can see that now I'm starting to question if something was a microaggression or not. I never questioned that before, and now it's starting to seep in. And where does that come from? I'm not at liberty to say where that comes from now. I'm not smart enough to know that. I'm smart enough to know that I'm not smart enough to know that. But in the end, the experience is the same. It's a shared experience. And I know enough to know that. At the same time, as a leader, I'm in a position to do great things. I can be a role model. I can be someone that people can look up to, no matter who they are. You know, my parents, my mom, my dad, they were in the freedom rides. You know, they sacrificed so I could be where I'm at today. And I respect that. And I feel like things have gotten better, even though things suck right now. So I'm going to remain optimistic. And in the end, I know eventually we'll truly prevail. But at least now I see the wound. Wendell was always kind of the dude you trust with your purse. You know, hey, I got that for you. I'll hold your wallet. I'm Wendell. Whereas Wendell, on the other hand, you know, actually you can trust Wendell with your purse too. That's just horrible. That's just horrible.
We want to create a brighter and better future for El Segundo, and we will not take no for an answer.
In my day-to-day life, I see people overgeneralize the circumstances of others and just disregard them as unimportant or non-existent. We as a society have come better at recognizing the marginalization of minority identities, but we still fail to recognize the intersectionality of individuals and how it affects them. Having multiple minority identities isn't just additive, it's multiplicative. They have a new set of challenges they have to face on top of being Black and poor, or Muslim and Black, or any other combination. They have their own set of issues that they wouldn't have if they just had one or the other. So each individual requires their own specialized and individualized care to help them and to recognize that they're more than just the sum of their parts. I, as a person living on the West Coast in an upper middle class family, I don't have to deal with a lot of the same issues that people in the lower class have to deal with. Or in the South or Midwest, I don't have to fear as much about being discriminated against for being a person of color, or for being an LGBTQ person, or for neurodivergency, but it's still there. I don't have to deal with struggling to put food on the table, to have a good education, affordable health care. I don't have those same struggles. But I still do have my own intersections. I still do have to worry about being cast off as weird or inattentive or just not trying because of my own neurodivergencies. I don't have to worry as much in a society that's slowly becoming better, but still have to deal with it. Still have to deal with people hesitating and treating me differently when they learn that I'm not cisgendered and I'm not heterosexual. I just don't fit into those gender binaries, and I still have to face the intersections of those, as well as being Black and a plethora of other things. At the end of the day, I'm glad I'm different. It makes me who I am.
We want to create a brighter and better future for El Segundo, and we will not take no for an answer.
Hi, I'm Violet. Well, like as a kid, you don't like see color. Like that's not something that you should be taught. Especially as like a person of color, you have to learn that racism is a thing. Especially like if you're me and you live in a prominently white town. Like my mom had to teach me there are people in this world who will not do certain things or will say certain things to you just because of the color of your skin. Like most of my friends are white, so it's like they don't really get what I say. Most of the time when I'm like, I'm Black, it doesn't work like that for me. Most of the time it's a joke because that's how I cope with stuff like racism. When George Floyd died, it was terrifying because I was like, the police are killing people? I was like, they're not supposed to do that. It literally got to the point where my mom was dropping me off at school and she got pulled over and I literally thought I was gonna die. And like that's such like a scary thing, especially like as a child when you don't like totally understand what's going on. In a way, like yes, I was upset, like police are killing people for no reason. Like that's something they shouldn't do. They're here to protect people. But in a way, it was also in my brain like, what else is new? I'm just like, there goes another one. There's so many people who like to joke about people like George Floyd and Jacob Blake. Like literally today, I was walking past like these group of boys in my grade, and they were like, "Yo, Violet, have you seen the video of the protesters getting shot? Yeah, that was funny." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I feel like personally it's my job to educate people on all the world issues. And it's like, I sometimes have to tell myself to like stop, because I'm like, you're only 13. And you need to, like, you should be playing outside, not starting a protest. The adults should be doing this. Like, the people in politics should be doing this. But they're not going to, because most of them are white and don't care because it doesn't affect them personally. So that's, like, why I'm trying to start being more involved with stuff that involves, like, politics and Black Lives Matter, because my opinion matters, and I know that. Even, like, as a 13-year-old. See, no, I can't, okay. I'm gonna give myself a pep talk real quick. Yeah, okay. Oh my God, are we starting now? Dude.
We want to create a brighter and better future for El Segundo, and we will not take no for an answer.
My name is Keith. I'd like to talk to you about racial profiling. In '98, I was 21 years old and I moved to Los Angeles from Lake Arrowhead, California. In Lake Arrowhead, I wouldn't say I got pulled over a lot. I was really only driving for 5 years, but I mean, that is 5 years worth of data, and I can't remember ever being pulled over. I moved down to Torrance in 1998, and within, I would say, the first 2 to 3 months of driving, I'd been pulled over 5 times. And it started to become a regular event, a regular occurrence, where I would be pulled over by Torrance PD, El Segundo PD, Hawthorne PD, LA PD, San Diego PD, California Highway Patrol. Every time I felt like I was driving. And I would say it would average about 2 to 3 times a month. There was one time in particular, a couple of friends of mine and myself were playing with some foster children. And as soon as we took a left onto Victoria off of Wall Street, we got pulled over by 2 Carson sheriffs. It was the first time I had ever had a gun drawn on me. And the officer put a shotgun up to my temple and told me if I didn't put my hands on the wheel and cooperate, that he would fill the car full of BBs. So the 2 passengers I had in the back had to put their hands out the window. I had to keep my hands on the steering wheel. We were pulled over at a felony stop. We were not told why we were pulled over. We were not issued any citations. They just laughed as they pulled over. Around 2007, I bought a new car and I decided that I was going to tint the windows. After thinking about it for a long time, I decided that I was going to do limo tint on all 5 windows. In the state of California, that is illegal. You're not allowed to have limo tint, and law enforcement has to be able to see in the front seat. Well, within the first month of me having illegal window tint, I did not get pulled over once. Within the first year, I made it without being pulled over. It wasn't until about my 3rd year that I got pulled over in San Diego, and they highlighted the window tint being the reason why I was pulled over. In the 13 years since I've had window tint, I've had 1 ticket and I've been pulled over 3 times. Taking away the ability of law enforcement to see in my car took away any probable cause that they could make up. Without them knowing who was in the car, or not knowing my race, identity, or being able to make any assumptions, they stopped pulling me over. Law enforcement stopped worrying about me, but I still continue to worry about them. Every time I pass a police officer, every time one pulls up behind me, Even though I'm not doing anything, even though I'm not speeding, I still think back to all the felony stops and all the times that I've had guns drawn on me. The only times I've ever had guns drawn on me in my life have been over law enforcement. Every time that they've pulled me over and put a gun on me, I have never received a ticket, I have never received a citation, and I have never been arrested. This is my story. The old sign that read "No colors after dark" has been removed. This is a new El Segundo, a new diverse and inclusive El Segundo where everybody is welcome. Thank you.
We want to create a brighter and better future for El Segundo, and we will not take no for an answer.
My name is Nakia, and I live in El Segundo. We were celebrating Thanksgiving. It was in the morning. I sent my brothers off to buy some video games so we could play some games while we were having our holiday. And within 5 minutes of them leaving, they were pulled over. They called my mom because they were nervous and scared, and because they're black men, they had previously experienced, bad behavior from the police. So my mom rushed off to go make sure that the cops knew that they were just kids and they were visiting and they belonged here. One of the officers actually came to my door and knocked to ask me if my brothers were visiting. So I was like, are you allowed to stop people to ask them where they're going? For the police to come knock on my door was just another level of blatant racism. Like, why are these black people here? We want to make sure and know why they're actually here. And that really broke my soul. And that just reminded me about the injustice that I have had my entire 46 years of life. I was born into injustice. My father was a Black Panther who fought for the same exact things that we're fighting for today, and that's equality for all. He went to jail for 12 years for a crime he did not commit. And because of that, I lost a father. I see a lot of racist people at these protests saying, you don't have fathers. Well, guess what? We don't, because you harm them, you kill them, you incarcerate them on false pretenses for just being a black male trying to go to work, go for a run, trying to fight for our rights as human beings in America. So as beautiful as this town has been, and as many amazing memories that I have here, and I met amazing people here as well, it just hurts to know the core values of some of the people here. Things have to change. I'm one of the moms here in your town. Your kids are playing with my kid. You see us on the streets. We should not be an insult to your community, because I bring a lot here. If you got to know me, which a lot of people here know me, they know that I'm a great mom. They know that I volunteer in the schools. They know that I'm gonna say hi to you, because I love people. I love everyone. And that was instilled from my genes. I didn't have a father because you took him, but that was in my genes. I didn't have to be taught love. That was something I was born with. So, thank you.
Don't cry.
Love you, Mama. I love you.
We want to create a brighter and better future for El Segundo, and we will not take no for an answer.
I am Lakeisha. A couple of years ago, I applied for an amazing position. I'm speaking, the location was beautiful, the people seemed nice over the phone, and after about a few minutes of them looking at my resume, they immediately wanted to see me in person. So I was excited. This was my first time actually working for a company that I felt really good about, just their mission and their vision. So I went in for an interview that next day, and they gave me a few questions. They got to know who I am as a person. They loved me. After about 45 minutes of conversation and them getting to know who I am and how I can add to the company, they told me, "You have done very well. We are so impressed, and be on the lookout for a call from us. We're gonna call you." So I waited patiently, excited to just tell my friends and my dad that this is a company that I feel really good about. So after about 48 hours, I received a call from the manager of the company, and he said, "Lakeisha, we love you. Your resume, your personality, you will do great for this company. We only have one request." I'm excited. "Yeah, of course. What would you like for me to do?" They said, "I think we should go by your middle name, which is Dolly, because it's a little bit more appropriate for our company, and we don't really want to offend or scare off any possible new customers." I was quiet. I was in shock. I couldn't believe that my name was the one thing that was hindering me from accepting this amazing position. So I told him if he can give me 24 hours to think about what he's asking for me to do. So after some time thinking about the story that I want to tell my children one day, and what story do I want to tell other African American women one day about this situation and how I handled it, I called him up and I said, "Sir, thank you so much for this opportunity. However, I'm going to decline. And just a thought that I want to put out to you and to your wife who has a biracial child, that I'm going to really be in prayer for the both of you, because if she runs into managers that are similar to her parents, that are judging her based off of her name or the complexion of her skin, she's going to have many, many problems." And that was the last time I heard from him. So if you're out there watching, I want to make sure that you're doing this. So let's do it together, okay? So 5, 6, 7, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Get it? 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now you're a professional. So when you see your friends or your family, make sure you go out and you teach them how to do the ducky.
We want to create a brighter and better future for El Segundo, and we will not take no for an answer.
Hi, I'm Tanya, and I'd like to speak to you about pain. The reason I want to speak about pain is because with the recent social unrest and political unrest in the country, there has been a lot of protests. And the protests have been a demonstration of frustration and anger with police brutality and systemic racism. What a lot of people don't understand is that that rage and that anger and that frustration is really only the surface of a huge amount of pain. Black people as a community have to carry in isolation a lot of pain. And I say in isolation because every time that a young black boy is shot by police or a young black woman is shot by police, we have a sense of extreme pain because we have to accept the fact that that person is dead purely because of the color of their skin. The family of these people, their closest friends, their closest community, are experiencing a level of pain that is totally unimaginable. But that pain doesn't stop with them. That pain creeps through the entire fabric of our society. And we have to ask ourselves, do we want to continue to build a society on pain? As a black person, the levels of pain are so deep and so many that we keep pushing them down. We don't only experience pain when one of us is murdered. We experience pain in the daily humiliations that we have to face. When you walk into a store and a white person walks in before you and one walks in after you, and the storekeeper says hello to the person before you and the person after you and treats you like you're invisible. That's pain. When your children are treated harsher at school or not given as much attention because they're not white children, so they're not expected to do as well, that is pain. When people immediately have low expectations of who you are and what you have achieved because of the color of your skin, it's pain. And these are the pains that we cannot express. So we keep them all inside and we keep pushing them down in order to survive in this society. But just think of what that does to a person. Think about the physical, the mental, and the emotional damage that must do. As Black people, we carry a significant amount of pain because racism is real, racism is here, and from what we've seen this year, racism seems to be churning up and increasing, not the opposite. Our ancestors have fought through their pain in order to try and create a better society. Now we fight through our pain to try and create a better society and to try to maintain our stability and our health. I just want everyone to remember that the next time that you hear someone shout, "Black Lives Matter," it's not an empty statement. It's a statement that's just the surface of their pain. Thank you. This is Segundo, loud and clear.
We want to create a brighter and better future for El Segundo, and we will not take no for an answer.
My name is Juice Mackins. I wrote a poem called Horse, or The Day Black People Didn't Have the Answers. What else can we pray for that hasn't found a way to leave us mutilated? We count our blessings single-handedly, using that as a replacement to tallying up the miseries. What if we all marched into the Middle Passage in order to reacquaint ourselves with our first African-American ancestors? Would our tears then blend with the generational bloodshed, changing the masses of water into a literal Red Sea? A new kind of filtered water, almost good enough to soak in, right? Good enough to drink, to enjoy. Would we be missed for who we are? Or would the memory of Black service outlive our cries for evolving past and expendable purchase? I personally just want to say that waking up Black is a privilege, but it should not be coupled with an outside fatigue. We should not wake up exhausted. We should not be looking to go to sleep throughout the day, to sleep off whatever pain. No one should try to live in anticipatory fear of whether they're going to see on the news, or if they're going to know that person, or if there was a law that passed that's going to just redirect their entire life. Black Americans, and I can only speak for Black Americans, wake up with an innate exhaustion when someone tells you that you're not enough, while second-handedly, in your face, using what you already are, using the image that you possess, using the music that is not just comes from your mind, it comes from your soul, it comes from years and centuries of pain, using everything in your artistic realm, in your artistic body, to make money off of you, to deify what you're worth, not who you are. I want to do more than live. I want to enjoy life. I want to thrive. I don't want dreaming just to only happen when I'm asleep. I want to daydream safely. Okay, ready? We still made it to today. We were blessed with today. Now, let's go out and bless someone else that we made it to today together.
Too many souls have been broken. Too many babies gone. children dying. Where are they? Rest in peace. Sleep in love.